second to write them down in order. Yeah. All right, everyone, thanks for joining us. We are joined by 3 Kansas student athletes. From your left to right, Remy Martin, Christian Braun, and Ochai Agbaji. We will go into questions. As a reminder, please make sure to get the attentions of the mic holders. And before you ask your question, please state your name and outlet, and please direct which student athlete, be specific on who you'd like to ask. We'll start over on the right here.
Hey, Ochai. My name is Mitchell Summers. I'm with WIPW in Topeka. You were named a finalist for the Naismith Trophy. Only 2 other Jayhawks have won that award. Just give me an idea as what that means to be up for consideration for that.
Yeah, I think that means a lot, obviously to me and the people that support me, but I think it means a lot more to coach and obviously the program that, the University of Kansas has been and, all the players that have been through there. So it just means a lot in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't have done it without my teammates, so I'm really thankful for that.
Follow-up, both for Remy and Christian. Just give me an idea as to how much your games has been able to open up because of the year that Ochai's been having.
Remy, you can go first, then Christian.
Oh, man. First off, I think just give him the award now. Man, this dude, he's been amazing the whole year. It helps the team, man. He's been, the anchor of the team. He's been phenomenal the whole year, and it just helps everybody when he's playing the way he's been playing. And, getting the ball into Dave, opening up the floor for me, because they don't leave him sometimes. So those driving lanes is open for me. So him being him all year has helped this whole program.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. He's been so great all year that the defense just has to watch him. It has to focus on him. A lot of their game plans on Ochai. So it opens the game up for Remy. It opens the game up for us. Like you said, driving lanes, open shots. Just because they're focusing attention on him because he's been so great this year. It just helps our team. It makes everybody better. And he still gets to build his case, for Player of the Year. He's still playing. So, that's our Player of the Year. And we're excited for him, just these next couple of games and excited for the team to see what we can do.
In the middle here on the left.
Shea Wildeboard, JayhawksLand.com. For 3 of you, obviously you guys have reached a point in the season where if you lose, you go home. And each time you advance, I'm sure the pressure gets a little bit more intense. Does Coach Self change anything he does about his approach to the game? Does he do anything to, maybe lighten things up a little bit for you guys? I mean, is there something that he does this time of year that maybe doesn't necessarily happen during the regular season?
We'll start with Ochai and then work our way down.
I would say, I think just when the postseason started, right when we got done with conference, that the practices leading up to the Big 12 tournament, he was just a little bit more amped up, and then the first weekend he was even more amped up. So he's just taking it, level by level, being more intense in practice, more focused to detail, making sure we're all focused to detail too. So this past practice that we had yesterday was really, really intense.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Just his energy level's off the charts right now. And he's intense, and he focuses on every little thing because he knows, little details can send you home. So his energy is great. He's just a lot of times in a good mood just because we're winning, He told us this was, to get to the second weekend is when you really get to experience what March Madness is all about. That's what he tells us all the time. So he's excited to get here. It's just his energy in practice is great.
Yeah, I think just the little things, like CB said, the little things is what matters. It can send you home. So just dialed in on the little things and polishing up on some of the stuff, some of our sets. But he's happy with us, and we're just all ready to go out there and play.
In the back right.
Jay Cohen, Associated Press. This is for any of you 3 guys. You guys are holding teams to a 38% shooting or so in the tournament. How key is your success? How much of your success is predicated on your defense?
Christian, can you take that one?
Yeah, I would say that it's really important, especially this next game. They run a lot of really good sets, and we got to do a really good job of focusing on talking and communicating on switches and stuff like that. So it's really important that we do hold these teams to those low numbers, especially Providence. They shot the ball really well last game. So it is a big focus of ours to focus on defense, because we know when we get out, we get stops, we get out in transition, we can run, and that's when we're at our best. So when we get stops, that's when we're at our best.
In the third row on the left.
Hey, Remy, just talk about the first halves that you were able to come in Fort Worth and really spark the team, and how you're feeling about that. And then after that, CB and Och, what have you seen from Remy in practice that maybe we haven't seen yet?
For me, I'm just, first off, I'm just happy that I'm healthy and I'm feeling, a lot better and feeling like myself. This is something that I've, always wanted to do as soon as I got to, Kansas. But unfortunately, due to some injuries, I had to, wheel it back a little bit. But, I'm happy that I get to just be on the court, whether if I'm starting, whether if I'm playing, a little minutes. I'm actually just happy just to go out there and represent and go as hard as I can for my teammates. I came here ultimately to win. So whatever I can do to contribute into that, whatever the team needs me to do, I'm willing to do. I think throughout my years, I've been pretty battle-tested on any position that I've been on, whether it's starting or coming off the bench. So I'm pretty well-equipped of myself and what I'm able to do. So when Coach puts me in a game, I just go out there and try to, help Ochai and CB out, get the pressure off of them, and just go out there and play my game. So I'm just happy to go out there and play in a Sweet 16 with these guys that we've been battling ever since I got there. So I wouldn't do it with any other guys. This is the best guys, best group that I've ever been around, and I'm just happy to go out there and play and contribute as much as I am.
Christian and then Ochai, you can answer the next question.
Yeah, I would just say that how we talked about his health. In practice, he looks quick. He's making moves, that we haven't seen him make in a while. And just you can see it in games. His energy translates, from practice to games for us, and everybody feeds off his energy. Everybody feeds off his shot making. And when Remy's doing that, it takes us to a whole new level. There's games where we're going to need him to go get 20. He got 16 in the first half. So he's going to keep us in games just with his shot making and that ability is something that we haven't had in the past. Is somebody that can just go jump up and make a shot and make a play. And just his energy on defense and his energy just as a person is great for our team.
Yeah, I would say his energy. In practice, whether he's going, whether he's on the sidelines, whether he's on the court, going up and down, or limited. He's always bringing energy. He's always talking. Bringing positive vibes to the team and to everyone in the program. So I think he has a new tier where he can take it. He can take it up to that we've seen in practice, that we can see in the game. So I'm just excited for him. So.
In the second row on the right.
Yeah, Matt Tate, Lawrence Journal World. For Ochai and Remy, you've probably heard Coach Self say this, and Coach Cooley said it a little bit ago, that these two teams mirror each other. Are there advantages and disadvantages to how that helps you in preparation?
Ochai and then Remy.
I would say the way we mirror each other, with our sets and obviously three-point shooting ability. I think when those things are equal, we kind of have to find what we're best at and really stick to it. As far as making them play bad or just defensively locking in on stuff they do, trying to throw them off, because they're going to try to do the same thing for us. So really focusing on the defensive end, I think that's where the game's going to be, won at. Where we're going to be successful. So.
Yeah, what Ochai said, I think the defensive end, and I think that both coaches are pretty, hard-nosed and defense and want just players out there that just go hard and give it their all. So I think it's going to be an incredible game, and I think it's a game that we all are looking forward to playing in.
Standing in the back on the left.
This is really for all three, but kind of following up to Matt's question, is there any similar teams you played that kind of remind you of Providence? And then also, when it comes to the style of play that they have, is it something similar to what you guys do in practice as well?
Christian, can you answer?
I don't know if there's any teams that come to mind that are similar to them, but the way they run a lot of sets, we've played a lot of teams, like K-State runs a lot of sets, Baylor runs a lot of sets, that you just have to have a really high attention to detail on. Like I said earlier, you got to communicate. You got to be ready for everything they throw at you. They got a bunch of sets that they have, and they're only going to run so many in a game. So it's hard. It's hard to scout which ones they're going to run. but you just got to be ready for a lot of things, and you got to be aligned defensively. Like Ochai said, it's easier to make a team, play bad than it is to go out and make shots every game. So we got to focus on making them play bad, focus on their sets and take things away we know that they're good at, and if we can do that, I think we can win the game.
In the third row on the right.
Zach Boyer from the Lawrence Journal-World. Remy, Providence has 6 guys who have transferred into its program. And as somebody who's made that move yourself, what are the challenges that come with doing that from not just a basketball standpoint, but from a team and culture standpoint as well?
Oh, man, take me back, man. It takes me back to, like, my freshman year, just, like, going into a program not knowing, much, trying to figure out your way. It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. Your family coming to see you. Your friends. It takes away. It's just like going into another program like your freshman year. And thankfully for me, these guys have been amazing for me to go in and feel comfortable. But it definitely is a little bit of a struggle because it's something that you're not familiar with. You have to adapt to the coaches, the players, the whole program. So. Having 6 transfers for them, I know it could be kind of difficult, but for me it was amazing because these guys came in and they absorbed me and they made sure that I was okay and they opened arms with me.
In the second row on the right.
Christian, you've talked about Ochai understanding just what winning brings for everyone. I'm wondering if you have any sort of appreciation of that for yourself, of what a strong end to the month of March could mean for your own future.
Yeah, I would say that just for everybody, the more you play, the more people you play in front of, and the more games you win, the more people get to see you play, and the more people get to see what you can do. You can show more of your game. All those things come the further you play. Ochai does a good job of just focus on winning, and he knows that winning will make his draft stock higher, and that goes for everybody. Opportunities, are given to those who win, and we all know as a team, Jalen, Remy, whoever's on the team, Dave. DeJuan, everybody's focused on just getting those wins because, like I said, winners are rewarded. And we know that if we win, Coach always tells us the pie is big enough for everybody. So everybody's just focused on that, and we know that if we win games, that means everybody's playing well. And ultimately, that means that'll be the most opportunities for everybody.
In the fourth row on the right.
Yeah, Braxton Jones, KWCH. For all 3 of you guys, not necessarily a tournament question. A lot of talk been about NIL this year. Adidas announcing yesterday they're making it easier for more athletes at their schools to be able to have access to that network. I'm just curious, your thoughts on a big move like that, and then how has this kind of changed life for you all, I guess, in the last year that you've been able to experience it?
We'll start with Ochai and work our way down.
I think it's really cool. I haven't really read much into it yet, but I saw that they passed something that, or Adidas passed that. I think it's really cool for not only us but future guys or future recruits and recruiting side that goes with college and all that. So I think it's really special moving forward.
Yeah, I'd also say that it's just something cool, something different, from the last 2 years. Something that we haven't had. And you get to express yourself and your personality, show more of who you are. I think through NIL, and I think it's cool. You see around the country, a lot of guys have shirts, a lot of guys have a lot of things. So it's really cool to see people's personality, see those things shine through, which you didn't really get to see in the past.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I wish I had one more year so I could capitalize on everything. I wish I had that, but honestly, it's a privilege. It's awesome to be able to have those opportunities to be able to capitalize on it. Yeah, I mean, I love Adidas. I wish I get some more gear. Let's get some more gear going. Let's try to capitalize on it.
In the third row on the left.
Yeah, Ochai, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Just wondering how teams have approached defending you differently or how that's evolved throughout the course of the season, and then also what you expect from Justin Minaya in particular from Providence.
I would say, going into every game, it's kind of a mystery. There's some teams that will face guard me. There's some teams that will, play regular. So it's kind of just, one of those things where you have to get out there and see in the moment how they're playing me. How he's going to play me in this game coming up Friday. So it's just one of those things you got to see how it goes.
In the right on the first row.
Ochai, could you explain the level of confidence that you have now in comparison to what you had when you first came to Kansas?
I mean, it's a complete 180. Since I stepped foot on campus, obviously I had confidence, but I was under a lot of recruits and all that high major recruits and all that. But I just continued to keep working, and that built my confidence over time. So
That wraps it up. Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Thank you. That goes there. That one, yep. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Good. Good? Yeah, we're good. We're joined by Kansas head coach Bill Self. We'll start with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions. As a reminder, please get attention to the microphone holders and state your name and affiliation before you ask.
Well, we're obviously very excited to be in the Sweet 16. We're excited to play a tremendous Providence team, and there's not a better place for us to be than Chicago playing it. So our guys are all jacked and looking forward to it, and hopefully be a lot of fun.
First question in the right.
Coach Self, this is Mitchell Summers with WIBW in Topeka. Ochai was named the finalist for the Naismith Trophy. Just give me an idea as to what that means to be up for that kind of award.
Well, he's been named, I believe, first-team All-American on the 4 or 5 of the major All-American things, and so, if you're a first-team All-American, you're a top 5 player. So I don't think it's a shock that he's part of the Naismith Award finalist, and there's multiple. I think there's like 6 or 7. We were talking about that earlier. That would be considered a major player of the year award possibilities. But for him to be a finalist is something that he deserves. And if the voting's not done yet, hopefully we can add to his resume from this point forward. That would certainly play a role in helping him if that's not done yet.
On the right again.
And one quick follow-up. Just give me the level of pride that you have in seeing the way that he's developed from the beginning of his career to where he is now.
Yeah, I think that's. I think all coaches take pride in development of where someone starts and where they finish, and it's much more difficult for a talented person to go from here to here than maybe somebody that's not as talented to go from here to here. And he's one of those talented kids that have gone from here to here. And so that's just due to his commitment and his work ethic, and we could not be more proud of him on how he's represented himself and us the last 4 years.
On the left in second row.
Shea Will, LeBoard, JayhawksLand.com. Coach, you've reached kind of a point in the season where if you lose, you go home, and each time you advance.
That's a great assessment, Shea. Wow. Great journalism right there, Shea.
And I'm guessing each time you advance, the pressure intensifies. Do you find yourself doing things differently this time of year? Do you approach things differently? Do you try to make things a little bit more light for your guys? Or
yes, you do try to make things more light, because if they didn't care, you wouldn't be in this position. So every team that's playing this weekend has a team full of guys that care a lot. So yeah, you probably do try to make it a little lighter, but not at the expense of letting them think that they've done anything yet. So I think it's a little bit of a fine line to walk, but even though we haven't started it really yet, my players would complain about it, but I think it becomes a lot more mental this time of year and less physical. And I think our players would probably agree with that.
On the right in the second row.
Matt Tate, Lawrence Journal World. Coach, you talked about how these two teams mirror each other. Ed said the same thing earlier. Are there advantages, disadvantages to that when you're prepping for a team that reminds you of your own?
Well, we don't run the same stuff, but personnel reminds us both, probably, I guess, as you said, Ed said as well, of each other. So I don't think that there's an advantage or disadvantage. You go into a season in your non-conference games hoping you can play non-conference opponents that would give you an idea what it would be like to play somebody that plays a different style than your league play that may prepare you for NCAA tournament. I'm not sure either one of us will benefit from that mindset. Like they played Wisconsin early, I guarantee it. It may have been a scheduled game. It may have been part of a challenge, but that was great for him in case they played a team that played like Wisconsin. That's different than most. But with us, it's not really different. We're going to be playing somebody that is comparable to what we have seen the majority of the time this year.
I also want to ask the biggest key to guarding the three-point shot against these guys.
You have to. For us, we have to have great switches. You got to switch to take something away rather than let them catch and then react. And then the other thing, you can't allow. They're going to make threes, but you would rather get them off the bounce, force them to get them off the bounce and off the catch. So, be there on the catch where there's very, very short closeouts, if any.
In the front.
Kenneth Williams, what do you like about this year's team?
Well, there's a lot of things I like a lot. I think, they're fun to be around. We have a good blend of youth and experience. I think we have some toughness. I think we have some skill. But the biggest thing I think I like is they like to compete. That to me is what makes it more fun. It's always fun to compete and win, but it's also fun in some guys' minds where you're down 3 and under 4 timeout. Now let's figure this out. So I do think that we have a team that enjoys that. I'm sure Providence does as well, or they wouldn't be 11-2 in close games. So that's another way we kind of mirror each other also.
In the back on the right.
Hey, Bill, Jay Cohen, Associated Press. 4 good defensive teams here in Chicago. What do you like about the way your team plays defense, and what stands out to you about Providence's defense when you watch them on film?
They're big. When they've got Durham out there at the point, that's probably as long a group as we played against this year. Texas Tech would be somebody that would rival that. That would put them. I could be off a little bit, but basically 6'4", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" in the backcourt. So that's a long team. They have good quickness. I do like how we're guarding better now. I'm not exactly giddy about it yet because we haven't been as consistently good. But I think people that follow us would say we've been a different team defensively the last month than we were prior to that.
In the back on the left.
Steve Greenberg, Chicago Sun-Times. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Steve.
It's been a while since you lived and worked in this state.
Yeah.
19 years. Yeah. You're getting ready to celebrate a milestone birthday this year.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
50's a tough age, huh? You guys know. 50's a tough age.
Does it seem like just yesterday? Does it seem like a lifetime ago? And do you think you made a good call taking this job?
When I was in Champaign, and of course we came to the city a lot, and you guys don't care about this, but since you asked, every time driving up and seeing the skyline, I used to think, man, there is some stuff getting done in this city. This is where action happens, and whether it be recruiting, business, or whatever, and I always liked that. I loved Chicago. And we had some great games here when I coached in here and in the United Center, and the Illini certainly supported us. The fans certainly supported us in an unbelievable way in this building. So I have great memories of the United Center, and we played relatively well here. But it was the right move for me to do what we did. I doubted it, buyer's remorse for a while, because you never know, because of what the situation we left behind was pretty good, as you all know. But it's worked out well for us, and certainly I'm very proud of the time I had in Champaign, even though it was limited. But I still have a lot of people that I'm very close to here, and I said this before, and I mean this. San Antonio's been really good to us, and there's other places that have been good to us and playing regional in different areas. But this was my hope, that we would be in Chicago. This is about as good as it could be for me personally, and for our fan base being right here.
In the second row on the right.
Bill, you were mentioning what a quality weekend could do for Ochai's candidacy for Player of the Year. I'm wondering, for someone like Christian, for his own future, what could a positive weekend do for him?
Yeah, it could. These NBA, you're talking about NBA. It would certainly benefit him. It's a little bit different than a Player of the Year deal, though. NBA, these guys have seen these guys play. Right now, what is it, 36 games? They study it, and even when they're finished playing, they're going to work them out. They're going to have to reprove themselves each and every day. So, yes, I do think it can play a role in helping everybody that perform well, and I hope that's the case. But that's not what we're thinking about all. I mean, if the players are thinking about that right now, their head's not right. You worry about those things after you've taken care of business here, and the best way to take care of those things is to be present and teams do well. And I think our guys have that figured out.
Standing on the left.
Bill, Ian Steele, ABC6 Providence. Nate Watson remembers getting some recruiting interest from you when he was younger. What do you remember about watching him back then and how he's developed now?
Well, he's, the thing about it is in recruiting, you don't remember everybody, but you do remember, certain guys stand out, and you've always been interested in what they do when they go somewhere else. Nate's been a guy that I don't know that I would say I follow every box score, but I've followed him and really enjoyed his success. He's gotten a lot better, and I think this year with Ed has really benefited him in a big way, because it's, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this Nate's fifth year? Is this his fifth year of playing? So he's taken full advantage of that, but I really like guys that can defend their own position and you can throw it to and get a basket, and he is a guy that can do both.
In the back on the right.
Bill, CBS, Providence. Outside of X's and O's, what's the toughest thing about facing a team that always feels like they're never given a chance to win? Like they've got a chip on their shoulder every time they go out and play.
Yeah, I mean, how it amazes me. Ed's done an unbelievable job. They got a team 27-5 and wins the Big East, has a chip every single time they play, which is a part of being a good salesman. But teams need to buy into a certain thought or theory or belief, and I'm sure that's been the thing that's probably driven them as much as anybody. They probably think, well, we win the league, but they still talk about Villanova. Or we're a 4 seed and Villanova's a 2 seed, we win the league. You can use those things as motivation all the time, and I'm sure Ed is very, very good at it. I know that we have done very similar things as well, but they're not a team from our perspective, or I think anyone else's perspective now, that gets no respect. They've gotten respect and they've earned it all. And the fact that I had one guy tell me that there's some deal out there, a lucky team or something, whatever, the media has kind of pegged them as that because they won so many close games. And luck doesn't win close games. Toughness and skill and execution does. And so they got a lot to be proud of. And I know they're going into this game believing that if they play well, they can handle us. And we know that we're going to have to play well to do that to them.
In the back.
Kind of a lighter question for you here. This is Aaron Ladd from Channel 41 in Kansas City. Not sure if you saw Houston's celebration after making it to the Sweet 16.
No.
Wondering if you'll keep the pattern going here if you move on.
I'm happy for Kelvin that he felt comfortable enough in his own skin to do that. But I have family and friends that I would like to continue to speak to me throughout the remainder of my life, and that I would not do that just so I would lose that relationship due to the embarrassment I would cause them. So that will not happen here.
In the third row on the right.
Zach Boyer from Lawrence Journal World. Bill, Christian had said something along the lines of it's easier to make them play bad than it is to consistently make shots.
Yeah.
How have they embraced that mindset lately?
I think that we haven't consistently. I think we have at times. I don't think we have consistently. Steve brought up Illinois a little bit ago. We won the league at Illinois, and we shot 42% as a team for a year. And so the mindset wasn't us playing good. Mindset was we just had to make sure everybody else played worse. And that's kind of a mindset you develop. When you make shots, a lot of times you lose that intensity, and so we haven't been consistent with that as much. But I do think we're getting better at it. We won a national championship and had a great team, and their whole mindset was if the other team can't score, you can't lose. And we haven't developed that as of yet, even though I think we made some pretty big strides on it.
Last question, fourth row on the left.
Hey, Bill, Mike Berman from NBC Chicago. I know the COVID years given some guys a chance to come back, pushed some of the ages farther out. But Jalen Coleman-Lands,
he's pushing it way out there. Yeah,
I mean
he's getting ready to have a milestone birthday as well, I think.
I think he already had it. I think he's a few months away from being 26.
Yeah.
So what's the value of someone like that kind of age and experience? Being in the program?
Well, he's been great. He's been great. He's working on his second master's degree, and hopefully we'll complete that. I don't know if he can be done this spring, but soon after that. He's extremely bright. But here's a guy. I could screw it up. 2 years at Illinois, played for John and Brad. Transferred, had to sit out, and then the next year he gets hurt and got the year back. So he's year 4 being a sophomore then, and then he graduates from DePaul his 5th year, goes and plays his 4th year at Iowa State, and then he can have a COVID year, he gets that back. So he's in his 7th year with us, and so we have another guy who's in his 6th year, Mitch, and I actually think it's great. I think that what's been done with the COVID, with the NCAA, has provided many great opportunities for kids that would have missed out on some stuff. And another one is Charlie Moore. Charlie's a Chicago guy, and even though he was only with us for a brief bit, 2 years, seeing the success he's had because of what the NCAA has allowed, I think is a huge positive as well. So it's been good for a lot of kids and good for programs.
That wraps it up. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.